By December, it's easy for learning to feel lost amongst all the scheduled things, the concert, the assemblies, the parties, you poor year six students or year six teachers. I feel like you don't even get to do real teaching in term four because it's just preparing for graduation and everything involved. So keep the focus with the 12 days of learning. So plan 12 themed lessons or challenges counting down to the holidays, and each of them linked to the curriculum.
Rainbow Sky Creations acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we record this podcast on, the Dharawal and Whadjuk Noongar people. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Hi teachers, welcome back to Rainbow Skies for Teachers. The countdown to Christmas is officially on.
Oh, isn't it ever? I feel the Christmas vibe is happening. The kids are talking about Christmas, spotting Christmas decorations.
Those routines might be slipping in your classroom. Things may be getting a little bit chaotic.
Yes, but it's a time where you can really harness this festive season. So we want to give you some classroom management secrets to make the end of the year amazing.
Yeah, and it is the time of the year that you kind of do need to switch it up a little bit because the excitement's high, because the kids, I know my own kids, they're so tired because there's not only is it the end of the school year for us Aussie teachers, but kids all over the world, there's always extra things happening at this time of year. So they've had big weekends or they might have things on midweek in the evening. So it is the time to mix it up, to combat that tiredness, combat with that little bit of boredom that might be happening. So the ideas today are to really just sort of put a pep in your classroom management step.
Absolutely. So we're going to start with the first one, which is earn an afternoon of Christmas blooms. I like this one. It's our favourite.
It's our favourite, and it's definitely one that both Alicia and I have done for years and years and years. Even before Rainbow Sky started, I did this sort of activity. So this is when you want to keep your students focused and learning in those final weeks of school before Christmas break or Christmas holidays here in Australia. But maybe they've mentally checked out a little bit, or if they're littler, maybe they're a bit tired. So this is the solution. Set up an incentive for them to earn an afternoon or earn every afternoon of Christmas Blooms activities. So they get to choose from a Blooms taxonomy of festive inspired tasks. They're creative, they're critical, they're collaborative. There's lots of different options to really suit the types of learners that they are. And the afternoon is just dedicated to them working on those tasks. So there's student voice and choice in this, which is great. We know that learners love that. They're still using those critical and creative thinking skills. So we're still learning, which is fantastic, but also it's festive themed. We have got a solution to help you with this too. So you don't need to think of all of these activities off the top of your head.
No, that's just too much work, right? So
way too much.
Love to as well get the top 5 favorite activities. So it might be decorating Santa's new Christmas suit, or it might be design Rudolph's and the reindeer's outfits, or put a menu together for what your Christmas meal would be. So you pull out some 5 of the favorites and you show the students and you get that excitement happening. So there's the motivation, the incentive for them to want to partake in this fun afternoon that you have planned.
Yes, and one tip that I love doing, and we've spoken about this on the podcast before, is I introduce a couple of the different activities earlier on that day or a couple of days beforehand, and I put them at the front of the room, just one copy of that activity and a Post-it note, and the kids then go and write their name on the Post-it note of what activity they want to start with, and then that way I've got enough photocopied, enough ready to go for these tasks, and it's a real winner. So you're going to be getting them working hard up until that final hour after lunch, and then after lunch, everyone's still working hard, but it's a little bit more relaxed and it's a little bit more festive. I pull out Mariah at this time. But you could also pull up piano classics of Christmas carols if you want a bit of more of a calmer vibe.
Instrumental cover songs, that's my go-to jam.
Yes. Yeah, me too. I love that.
So that's a great one for helping with the student focus. Now, what if you're in a situation where the behaviour dips when students feel like the term is already over, or for us Aussies, it's the end of the school year, we're done.
My gosh.
What can we do?
This happens so much. Our solution for this one is to create a countdown challenge board. So for each day for the last, say, 10 days, so that's the last 2 weeks if you're counting school days, use some sort of a challenge card that encourages kindness or has some sort of focus. For example, one of your cards might be silent transitions all day, or everyone has to try and compliment a classmate today, or work together calmly in small groups to solve this Christmas code cracker. Now, once they achieve the challenge for the day, whatever it might be, and you can adjust this according to your class. So if you've got a really rowdy class, maybe you just want to work quietly for the first hour of the day. Or maybe you just want to run reading groups the way you normally run it, the way you normally expect it, without all of the extra excitement and jazz, whatever it might be for your class. And then you can put this countdown visually up and celebrate when they achieve their goal for the day.
Yeah, it's like a class sticker chart. It's just satisfying. Fun fact, I currently have sticker charts on my fridge for my kids, and it really is a motivator and it just gets everyone on the same page. I love it. This is a great one.
Yeah, I love it too. Okay, let's talk now about classroom jobs and giving them an upgrade, because this can really affect your classroom management and how your classroom is running.
Yes. And it just, you keep the team collaboration happening. So you could bring it back with that bit of a twist. So we're currently in the phase of rebranding our website. So why not rebrand your class jobs with Merry Missions, or think of Elf of Organization, or the Gift Wrap Guru, or Silent Sleigh Walker, who's leading the class from, your class to the PE where they're going to do their specialist lesson. So mix it up a bit. You could rotate the roles out weekly and celebrate mission elves with small certificates or shout outs. I actually do like mixing this up daily, but that's just me. I mean, some kids might not like that, but like if I've got class jobs and I might have 5 jobs for the day that students have, and I'd probably go, okay, you're going to be the elf of organization today, and just switch it up. So the kids get a bit of variety, and you can even pair them up. You could have 2 kids working together for the same job. So it just gets everyone working on the same page, but knowing what their objective is, and a bit of motivation there.
Yeah, kids are so good with creativity. You could even say, okay, these are our class jobs. Let's rebrand them, everybody, and make them more festive. Can you come up with a few fun, clever names for whatever your jobs are? Like if you've got a technology person, maybe your kids could come up with a great Christmas-themed, festive-themed technology person name for the job. The other thing that Alicia and I both love for classroom jobs, we haven't gone down the traditional class jobs for a long time because we've gone with the PA of the day system, which stands for personal assistant of the day, where you just choose 1 or 2 students to do all of the little jobs that you might have. But if you use that system, maybe you could have an elf of the day instead of a PA of the day, just mixing it up and just making it a little bit more fun and festive. And kids get excited when it's new, even if it's just a new name. It adds the excitement.
Absolutely. And the reason I loved the PA of the day is because anything else that involves like tidying up the classroom, putting your chairs in, having your bag on the hook, it's an expectation that everyone needs to follow. It's kind of like how you go about paying pocket money to your kids. What are those expectations that we do as a whole class? And what are those other things that the PA of the day can do that's kind of special, like cleaning the whiteboard or turning it on or off or ringing the bell for whatever job that kind of has that special element that is given to someone? Yeah, that's a really easy one if you just want to do elf of the day or whatever it might be.
Yeah, maybe they could come up with something even better than our suggestion of elf of the day. If your kids do come up with something better, please send us an email or an Instagram DM. We'd love to hear it.
Absolutely. Oh, this is a big one. When overstimulation is real and the classroom gets loud and emotions run high, I always found the kids would ride off however I was feeling. So if I was coming into the class a bit overstimulated, it's like those kids who are just like the EQ kids who just go, oh, life is hectic at the moment. Like, I'm not going to try and calm my teacher. I'm going to join her craziness. So why not set up a bit of a calm Christmas corner or calm Christmas day? Perhaps you just want to implement this as a routine throughout those last 10 days where you're creating that soft space. Like for me, I'd love turning the lights off. Maybe I do deck out some fairy lights for the classroom, or you create a space in the classroom. Maybe it's the back of the classroom where your books are or where students can have their activities to, where you're creating that calm space. There's festive colouring in pages. Maybe there's some little gratitude journals that students can fill in. Or if you're doing a kindness Christmas tree, there's little kindness triangles there where students can write down other students they see being kind to them or to others. But just creating that calm space and environment in the classroom is going to have that effect on reducing that chaos.
Yeah, kids mirror what they see and feel for sure. If you've already got a calm corner in your classrooms, I know a lot of classrooms do already incorporate that, maybe just give it a little bit of a festive twist. Maybe you can put one or two students that use that calm corner in charge of giving it a little bit of a festive twist without, overstimulating them with too much tinsel.
Yes.
Hey, when we were in Dubai, we used to run that program, Big Write, which is a
Yes.
writing program. And part of that was you always turned off the lights, you put on fairy lights, you put on music.
I
It was
think
specifically Mozart, I think.
I
Does
thought it
that
was
seem right?
just
And
classical
then,
music.
but then also you added a scent to the class. Can you remember this?
Yeah, wasn't it a scent or even like a candle with a scent? I feel like fire hazard, but
They
yeah,
probably didn't have rules like that in Dubai. I mean, they were
but
pretty relaxed on some
it
things.
was kind of those triggers for you
Yeah.
cognitively to go, this is the time when we do this activity. Like we get our favorite pencil out, we get our favorite writing book out, the lights turn down. So it's kind of those little symbols that tell you this is what we're doing now. So it's kind of creating a similar environment in your classroom of when the lights turn off, that's us in chill mode.
Mm.
When certain music comes on, that's not go have a party. That's find your book that you want to read or find a partner that you want to do that activity with. Is having those cues to tell your students what their expectations are. And yeah.
I was thinking about that as you were talking, but also I was just thinking you could pair this really beautifully, like this whole conversation we're having about the lights and the smells and the music, with our first idea of having the afternoon or afternoons of Christmas blooms activities. Like that could be a really beautiful way to bring in those festive, fun activities, but still create that calm, quiet sort of environment for your kids.
Yes,
Which, let's face
absolutely.
it, they need it after lunchtime, especially in Australia, because it is hot after lunch in December. I know not everywhere, but here it is.
And maybe like this time of year for us, especially the Aussies, it would be like you come in after lunch and it's like they're hot, they're sweaty. It's like everyone get a drink of water. And I would be like, if you want to take your shoes off, you can take your shoes off. And they would be like, oh, and it was that kind of signal of wearing wind down mode,
Yeah.
afternoon chills. So yeah,
You're the
fine.
fun teacher. If you let them take the shoes off, you are the fun teacher.
Get those socks out of my face. But yes, you might want to take that one on board. Now, our next one, we're looking at maybe you need a bit of whole class motivation because it can dip when you're constantly you're reminding and redirecting. You know, when you're having those weeks where you feel like you're constantly telling your class to stop talking over the top of you,
Mm.
or they're just leaving their desks and trays really messy or forgetting actually where their books should go. This is one that you could use. Do you want to tell us about it, Ash?
Yeah, it's a reindeer reward system. Now you can swap out the word reindeer for anything that you like, depending on the age of your kids. But use a visual. Explain to your class it's time to work as a team. It's time to show kindness. It's time to make sure that you are tucking your chairs in, putting your books away, making sure your bags are tidy, whatever the goal may be. And each time you see them do that, they earn a reindeer. And you can pop it up on your board. And then once they get, say, 9 reindeers, with Rudolph being the last one that they get, they've unlocked a special celebration. Now, you might link that back up to the class blooms activities. You might link that up to a lesson outside. It doesn't have to be something super fancy. It can be something really, really simple, or maybe just free time. Or there was an idea, Alicia, that you mentioned a couple of episodes ago about giving the kids all of these little slips of paper and getting them to make class paper chains to decorate the classroom. Maybe it's something like that, something exciting like, okay, we're going to decorate the classroom for Christmas now that we've unlocked our reward. It doesn't need to be super strategic. It doesn't need to be really complicated. Just simple things, little goals that they want them to work with, but make it visual with something like a cutout reindeer on the board or little festoon lights so they finally get to the final one and it's lit up.
Yes. You know what's going to motivate your class. So you pick whatever that might be.
You also know the pain points of your class. So choose the things that are annoying you the most and make those the goals.
Absolutely. Now, our next one. By December, it's easy for learning to feel lost amongst all the scheduled things, the concert, the assemblies, the parties, you poor year 6 students or year 6 teachers. I feel like you don't even get to do real teaching in term 4 because it's just preparing for graduation. and everything involved. So keep the focus with the 12 days of learning. So plan 12 themed lessons or challenges counting down to the holidays, and each of them linked to the curriculum. I loved this sort of activity where I would be pairing it up to HAS, science, STEM, technologies. I mean, I remember we were one time in year 3, we were out there doing mini beasts through the whole school. Like we went and raided pre-primary and we paired it up with a buddy activity, and we're going looking for mini beasts and tallying up all the mini beasts we saw. And then we came back to the classroom and they chose a mini beast that they wanted to do research on and put a poster together. We didn't really have time throughout the year to do that, but we found a pocket of time during this kind of limbo phase of the school year. So find a project that you love or that you've been wanting to do and felt like you couldn't, and use it this time to do it.
Yeah, or even an activity that you want to tick off the list, like you want to work on just some last minute place value bits and pieces. So maybe you get out our number of the day Christmas tree for that, and that's your focus lesson. I love this. If I was doing it, I think I'd put on the board when they came in. On the first day of Christmas, my teacher gave to me, and then whatever the activity might be. You know what is really good for this? Our code crackers.
Yes.
They would be really awesome. And we're going to talk a little bit about code crackers later, but it could be like on the first day of Christmas, my teacher gave to me a code to crack. And then they do the activities. I'll make sure that those code crackers are linked in the show notes if you want just an activity that you can just get in and get done. The kids love it. What are some other activities that you could do? So we talked about projects. We talked about STEM activities. There's loads of Christmas-themed STEM activities out there too.
I think you could even take a classic of Christmas around the world, and each day you're going to another country to learn about how they celebrate Christmas. Or even if it's looking in your class, if you've got a really diverse class, and it's like, how do you celebrate Christmas in Hungary? Or how do you celebrate Christmas in South Korea? Whatever it might be, just bring that community element. I like this because it adds a bit of fun to the traditional school day. You know, when you kind of go, oh, this is what we're always doing. It adds that memorable moment that when the kids will probably look back on that year with you, or like remember their grade 3 teacher, they'll be like, oh, I remember that time we did this. So all that we're sharing today is kind of also making these memorable moments that they'll probably recall into their adulthood, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
But that's all about the ideas I've got right now for this one, Ash.
Well, they're all fantastic ideas, and I'm sure the teachers that are out there listening have got millions of ideas of their own. And I think putting it up and saying like on the first day of Christmas, on the 3rd day, on the 7th day, it kind of adds the mystery of like, what's tomorrow going to be? I wonder.
Yes.
And kids love that too.
Yeah, they'll be going home and brainstorming with their parents. Well, if it was my daughter, she would be.
Yeah, they will be. Okay, next up, let's talk about gratitude circles, which can be a really good thing to do in the final weeks when we're starting to feel a little bit rushed. We're starting to feel a little bit reactive. Everyone's tired. Small frustrations start to flare up. It's a really good time to stop and just regroup. And we talk a lot about kindness at this time of the year, but gratitude circles is another really good way to just regroup together as a class.
Yes. We do this every night around the dinner table, and it's a real centerpiece to our family tradition. So I feel starting the day with gratitude is probably even better, especially if kids are waking up a bit tired, a bit grumpy, feeling like there's a lot going on. It just gets you all to pause and reflect in that moment. And maybe it is you have a little special candle or like a switch candle that you light up and go, all right now, when you think what you're grateful for. And it might not be that everybody's sharing in that circle, because some people might not be ready to that day, but maybe it's even that someone shares one thing and then it's like, who else might feel the same about that, in terms of, you know, I'm grateful I got to ride my bike to school today, or I'm grateful that last night, you know, I got to play in the street with 2 of my favorite neighbors who were available for me to play, whatever it might be. It sets a really good tone for the day, I feel.
It does. It's teaching your kids to have that attitude of gratitude, which is really important at Christmas time. With something like this, keep it short, just a few minutes. You don't want to do a whole class. Everyone's going around the circle and they start to wriggle around and then kids aren't listening. Keep it short, but be consistent. Another way you could do this if you have older kids is just get them to open a back of a book and just write down a sentence about what they're grateful for. I've done this with kids from year 4 onwards, and I would even sit down and just jot something down in a book, handwrite it. So it was like we were all doing it together. So it's another sort of way you can do it.
And if you've got the younger kids, it could just be you've got a teacher slide and you start collecting all the things kids are grateful for. You might have it set up like a Christmas tree or the festoon lightings or just circles, and the kids could just go up and like tap which one they think.
Yeah.
So keep it simple. That's
There's
what it's
lots of
all
different
about.
ways. All right. What about when students lose motivation for positive behavior as the year wraps up? What are we going to do about that, Alicia?
Oh, I feel like it's a guaranteed. Let's bring back excitement with a mystery elf. So each day, secretly choose one student to be your mystery elf, and their job is really simple. To model kindness and teamwork. Really, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Just being
Yeah.
kind and collaborative. And when you see those values being embedded throughout the classroom, like the domino effect, right? The mirror effect, that's what you're trying to set the tone for. And then as the day ends, the class guesses who it was. That's always the fun bit, right? You get everyone together and like, who do you think the mystery elf was? And then you'll probably find that students are going to share, oh, well, I think it's so-and-so because they did da-da-da-da-da. And it just reinforces those positive skills, actions you want your students to be participating in. And if they guess correctly, perhaps the whole class earns a small reward. Maybe it is a bit of free play on the playground or whatever it might be. And it keeps everyone just making good choices, right? That's what you're kind of ultimately working
Yeah.
towards, is that even though you might be feeling a bit scratchy, it doesn't mean I get to be a completely horrible person. Like, it just gets people to be more accountable to how they're choosing to act and maybe be more conscious of regulating their emotions behind certain things, or actually self-awareness, right? Like, if you're doing the mystery elf and some kids come in and they're being a bit snappy, it might be that they actually go, oh gosh, I need some space. And it might be that they go to their friends, hey, I just want to do this activity on my own. I'm feeling a bit off today, or whatever it might be.
I really love this one of the mystery elf. And maybe if you're doing something like a PA of the day or an elf of the day, maybe the mystery elf turns into the PA the next day and it sort of flows on like that. But this idea of a mystery elf means that everyone is being on their best behavior because anyone could be the elf.
Yes. And we've got two more for you.
Two more ideas. One that we've already spoken about.
Yes. So if you're wanting some meaningful learning, but you've run out of energy for full lessons, this is where our code crackers come into play. And we've got free versions for grade 1 and 2 and grade 3 to 6. And it's one of those activities that you know students are going to be covering some math skills, problem solving, teamwork, crunchy eyebrow moments, which we're all about.
Here are some examples of ones that we've created. The missing Christmas presents or the Christmas present thief, like who stole the presents. Both of those are free, so we'll make sure that they're linked in the show notes. We've also got a mystery about where is Rudolph? Rudolph has gone missing. Where could he be? So they bring in that Christmas kind of theme, but the kids are learning and they're doing maths activities. Kids love these code crackers. I'm sure I've said this before. I know I definitely have shared this online on our socials, but I get my own kids to test these code crackers out for Alicia and I. And often when they have friends come over, I've asked them to sort of do a page each because, you know, it's not school, it's home. But time and time again, when these friends come back, they always say, hey, Ashley, have you got any code crackers for us to test? They want to do them. So it's a good sign when kids want to do something outside of school time and they've come over to a friend's house to play. Just saying.
And I guarantee you'd have some of the older students, like I'm thinking year 4 onwards, who will be like, I want to make my own code cracker. Like, that's a challenge in itself. I used to have a certain time of year, every couple of years, I'd have an activity where students had to make a board game. And I find Christmas is a great one for that, where you could make a Christmas board game on a skill that students are learning about. But you could layer it with create your own code cracker. That would keep the class entertained probably for a whole day, even just trying to make the code cracker.
Yeah, definitely crunchy eyebrow moments would happen there. That is for sure.
And then we've got the lucky last. This is the one for you beautiful teachers. You're running on empty. You're trying to finish strong while juggling concerts, reports, and chaos. What solution do we have for them, Ash?
Set yourself a teacher energy timer. So every few hours, when your timer dings, take a 2-minute pause, take a sip of water. You might do a little stretch or a couple of deep breaths. Apparently, it only takes 3 deep breaths to reset yourself, but that's going to really help keep the calm. And Alicia, you spoke at the very beginning of this episode about the kids really feeling what you're feeling. And this is a really good way just to minimize that excited energy, because it is excitement. The end of the year is exciting. There's lots happening. It may feel a little stressful because the to-do list is really long. So set that timer for yourself to remind yourself to stop, pause, take a sip of water, have a couple of breaths, and then continue on. It's only a couple of seconds. You might even want to set this up with your class. Like, I've got my timer going off once in the morning session, once in the middle session, once in the afternoon session, and this is what we're going to do. But don't make a big deal of it. I don't think it's one of those things that you want to just stop everything and it's like everyone get together and it's, a 10-minute thing to breathe deeply. I think it's something that you want to do really quickly and efficiently.
Yes, and modeling is powerful. So even if it's you told the class, you're like, I'm going to be doing this, you can join in if you wish. Ding, you get up, do your breaths, whatever it might be, do a stretch, you go nuts. So just remember, this time of year doesn't have to be chaos. And with a few simple systems and my favorite, a sprinkle of creativity and a dose of calm, you can finish strong and enjoy the magic of Ashley's favorite season of the year, Christmas.
Yep, I love it. We hope that these ideas were really helpful for you. It's kind of like a little toolbox to pick and choose. Oh, and Alicia, before we go, we need to tell everyone about our 7 days of Christmas.
Yes.
If you have not signed up for the 7 days of Christmas yet, consider this your sign to do so. Classroom management is all about these little tips, tricks, strategies, but having engaging lessons can really contribute to a beautiful, calm classroom. And that's what we're delivering to you over 7 days, starting December 2nd. So you can just get in time to get the first day. We're going to give you some code crackers like we spoke about, and we're going to give you so many great activities that your students are going to absolutely love. So for 7 days, we will deliver 7 freebies to your inbox, all holiday themed, Christmas related, and it's super, super fun. So if you want to get in on the 7 days of freebie, click the link in our show notes. We will pop it there along with all the other links from today's episode. Next week, we're going to be back with another toolbox of ideas that you can pick and choose from. We're going to be talking about brain breaks that are great for the festive season. So hopefully we'll see you there. We'll be back here next Monday in your ears. But until then,
there are rainbows ahead, my friend.
And together we're unstoppable.
Thanks for choosing to listen to Rainbow Skies for Teachers, the go-to show dedicated to teachers who want to make a big difference in education.
If you enjoyed the episode, please leave us a 5-star review or share the episode with a friend. Because together we're
unstoppable.